My name is Ariba. I'm 31 years old, and for most of my life, I felt like I was always second. Not because I wasn't enough, but because someone in my life always made sure I felt that way. Her name was Hania. She was my cousin. Same family gatherings, same weddings, same dinners, but completely different worlds. Hania had this presence, the kind that made people turn their heads when she walked into a room. She didn't even have to try. And the worst part? She knew exactly what she was doing. The first time I noticed it, I ignored it. The second time, I questioned myself. By the third time, I knew it wasn't a coincidence. Every man I ever introduced to my family somehow ended up more interested in her. Not instantly, not obviously, but slowly, subtly. Like she had a way of slipping into conversations, laughing a little louder, standing a little closer, until suddenly I wasn't even part of the picture anymore. And my family? They brushed it off. She's just friendly. You're overthinking. Confidence, Rocco Beta? Confidence. It's funny how people tell you to be confident while watching someone slowly tear it out of you. After a while, I stopped bringing anyone home. I told myself I was focusing on my career. But the truth? I was tired of competing in a game I never signed up for. Then I met Saad. He wasn't flashy, didn't try too hard, didn't say perfect things, but he listened. Actually listened. For the first time in years, I felt seen. We spent months getting to know each other, slowly, peacefully, no drama. And when he asked to meet my family, I hesitated. I told him everything. About Hania, about the pattern, about how every relationship ended the same way. He smiled, not in a dismissive way, but calmly, and said, "I'm not them." I wanted to believe him, but I had heard confidence before. The dinner was on a Sunday. I remember standing outside the house, my hands cold, heart racing, and then we walked in. Everything felt normal until she arrived. Hania. Perfect as always. Effortless. Dangerous. Her eyes scanned the room and then landed on Saad. And just like that, I knew. The game had started again. She approached us with that familiar smile. Warm, charming, calculated. Introductions happened. Small talk started. And slowly, she began. The subtle touches, the lingering eye contact, the soft laughter at things that weren't even funny. I watched it all happen, like I had seen it happen before. Except this time, something was different. Saad didn't lean in. Didn't engage more than necessary. Didn't give her the attention she was used to getting. He stayed beside me, answered politely, but never invited more. At one point, she even tried to get him alone, asking for help with something in another room. He looked at her, then at me, and said, "I think I'm good here." Just like that. Simple. Clear. Final for the first time in my life. She had no control. I could see it on her face. That confusion, that frustration, she wasn't used to being ignored. That night when we left, I didn't cry. I didn't feel broken. For the first time, I felt calm. In the car, I asked him, "Why didn't it work on you?" He looked at me like the answer was obvious and said, "Because I wasn't looking for attention. I was looking for something real." Then he paused and added, "And I already found it." That moment didn't just change my relationship. It changed me, because I realized something I never understood before. It was never about her being better. It was about people choosing what they valued. And for the first time, someone chose me. I still see Hania sometimes. Family events, weddings, she still gets attention. Still walks like the world belongs to her. But it doesn't shake me anymore, because I finally understand being chosen by the right person feels completely different than being noticed by everyone. And this time, I didn't lose. I wish I could say everything stayed perfect after that night. That once someone finally chose me, life became simple. But real life doesn't work like that. Because sometimes, it's not the past you leave behind. It's the past that comes back looking for you. A few weeks after that dinner, things were calm, peaceful even. Saad and I had fallen into a rhythm. Late night calls, quiet dinners, long drives where silence didn't feel awkward. For the first time in years, I wasn't overthinking everything. I wasn't comparing myself. I wasn't afraid. Until one evening, my phone rang. It was my mother. Her tone felt different. Not angry. Not emotional. Just tense. She asked me one question. Ye Saad karta kya hai exactly? What exactly does Saad do? I paused, because something in her voice told me this wasn't just curiosity. Turns out, Hania had been busy. Again. But this time, not the way she used to be. Not with flirting. Not with attention. But with something far worse. Doubt. She had started asking questions about Saad. Digging into his past. Talking to relatives. Spreading small, careful concerns. Nothing direct. Nothing obvious. Just enough to make people uncomfortable. He seems too quiet. Don't you think something feels off? I heard he had some issues before. Small sentences. But powerful enough to plant seeds. And suddenly, the same family that ignored everything before was now paying attention. But not to me. To him. That night, I asked Saad directly, "Is there something I should know?" He didn't get defensive. Didn't get angry. He just sat down, took a deep breath, and told me the truth. A few years ago, he had gone through a phase in life where everything fell apart. Bad decisions, wrong company, a situation that almost destroyed his future. Not something criminal, but something serious enough to leave a mark. I'm not proud of it, he said quietly, but I'm not hiding from it either. I changed the hard way. I just sat there, listening. And strangely, I wasn't shocked. Because the way he said it, there was no excuse, no drama, just honesty. But my family, they didn't see honesty. They saw risk. Calls started coming. Advice, warnings, pressure. Think about your future. People don't change that easily. You deserve better. Funny, isn't it? The same people who watched me get hurt again and again were suddenly so concerned about my future. And Hania? She stayed quiet. Didn't confront me. Didn't say anything directly. But I could feel it. She was waiting. Waiting for this to break us. Like everything else before, one night, I broke. Not because of Saad, but because of everything around us. The pressure. The doubt. The constant noise. I looked at him and asked, "Why is it always so hard for me to keep something good?" He didn't answer immediately. He just walked closer, held my hand, and said something I'll never forget. Because you're finally choosing something real. And real things get tested. That hit differently. A few days later, there was another family gathering, and this time, I had a choice. Go alone. Avoid the drama. Protect my peace. Or walk in with him. Face everything. Once and for all. So I did. We walked in together. No fear. No explanations. Just presence. The room went quiet. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. Hania was there. Of course she was. But something had changed. Not in her, in me. For the first time, I wasn't watching her. I wasn't waiting for her move. I wasn't comparing, because I finally understood something. She didn't have power over me anymore. Unless I gave it to her. That night. No one said anything directly, but everything was felt. The tension. The judgment. The curiosity. And still, Saad stayed exactly the same. Calm, grounded, present. When we left, I realized something quietly, deeply. This wasn't about proving anything to anyone anymore. Not my family, not Hania, not even the past. This was about one simple choice. Do I trust what I feel? Or do I let fear decide again? And this time, I didn't choose fear. Because sometimes, the real victory isn't that someone didn't take what's yours. It's that you finally stopped letting people decide what you deserve. I thought the hardest part was standing up to my family. I thought the real test was choosing Saad despite everything. But I was wrong, because the real test was still waiting for me. A week after that gathering, everything exploded. It started with a message from Hania. Just one line. We need to talk alone. I stared at my phone for a long time. Old me would have ignored it, avoided it, protected myself by staying away. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't running anymore. So I replied, "Fine." We met at a quiet cafe. No family, no noise, no audience, just me, and the person who had shaped so many of my insecurities. She looked different. Not weaker. Not stronger. Just tired. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she finally said, "Why him?" I almost laughed. "After everything?" That was her question. "Why not him?" I replied. She looked at me carefully, like she was trying to understand something she never had before. "You always pick different," she said slowly. "Not the ones everyone wants." And that's when it clicked. This was never about love for her. It was about attention, validation, winning. "You don't want them," I said quietly. "You just don't want me to have them." Silence. For the first time in my life. She didn't deny it immediately. Instead, she looked down and whispered, "I don't know how to stop." That hit harder than anything else she had ever done. Because for once, there was no manipulation in her voice. Just truth. She continued, "When someone chooses you, it makes me feel like I'm disappearing." I took a deep breath. Because I finally understood something. Her actions were never about me being less. They were about her feeling empty. But understanding something doesn't erase the damage. "You don't get to destroy people just because you feel insecure," I said calmly. She nodded, tears in her eyes now. But I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel revenge. I just felt done. "I'm not here to fight," I continued. "I'm here to end this." She looked up, confused. "I'm not competing with you anymore. I'm not proving anything. And I'm definitely not losing anything." I stood up. And for the first time in years, I felt light. Before leaving, I said one last thing. "I hope you figure yourself out, but I won't be part of your healing." And then I walked away. No drama, no breakdown, no looking back. That was the moment everything changed. Not because she apologized, not because she understood, but because I finally stopped needing her to. Weeks passed, then months. Life didn't suddenly become perfect, but it became mine. Saad and I grew stronger, not because things were easy, but because we chose each other again and again. Without noise, without games, without fear. My family? Some came around, some didn't. And for the first time, I was okay with that. Because I had spent my whole life trying to fit into places that never protected me. And now, I wasn't asking for acceptance anymore. I was building peace. One evening, I was sitting with Saad, watching nothing important, talking about nothing serious. And suddenly, it hit me. This feeling, this calm, this quiet happiness. This is what I had been fighting for all along. Not attention, not validation, not winning, just this. And maybe that's the real ending. Not that I defeated her, not that I proved anything, but that I finally chose myself. And this time, I didn't just win, I was free. I thought my story had ended, but life had one more chapter waiting. 2 months later, I was standing in front of my wardrobe, staring at a wedding outfit. Hania's wedding. Even saying it felt strange. After everything, after years of rivalry, pain, and silence, I was actually going, "Are you sure about this?" Saad asked, leaning against the door. I looked at him through the mirror. "I don't know," I admitted, "but I don't want fear making my decisions anymore." He nodded. Simple, steady. That's who he was. "Then I'm with you," he said. And somehow, that was enough. The hall was exactly how you'd expect. Lights, music, smiles that felt half real. And people who had watched everything unfold for years. The moment I walked in, I felt it. The stares, the whispers, the judgment. But this time, I didn't shrink, because I wasn't the same person anymore. Saad gently squeezed my hand. "I'm right here." And for once, I believed it completely. I hadn't even reached my seat when my mother stopped me. Her eyes were already emotional. "Why did you stay away from us?" she asked. Straight to the point. No pretending. I took a breath. Because this wasn't the old me. "I didn't leave," I said calmly. "I just stopped tolerating what was hurting me." She looked shocked. Maybe because I didn't sound broken anymore. "I'm your mother," she said softly. "And I'm your daughter," I replied. "But I deserve respect too." Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. But necessary. For the first time, I wasn't begging to be understood. I had already understood myself. Then I saw her, Hanya, dressed in white, walking toward the stage. And for a moment, everything from the past flashed in my mind. But something felt different. She wasn't performing. She wasn't trying to outshine anyone. She wasn't scanning the room for attention. She just looked present, real. When our eyes met, she didn't smirk, didn't challenge me. She just gave a small, honest smile, and I nodded back. No words. But somehow, everything was said. Halfway through the event, someone unexpected approached us, one of Hanya's old friends. She leaned closer and whispered, "You know she almost ruined your life, right?" I frowned. "What do you mean?" "She tried to file a complaint against Saad," she said, "but backed out last minute." My heart dropped. Even after everything, she had gone that far? I looked toward the stage, at Hanya, and for a moment, old anger tried to come back. But then I remembered something. She didn't do it. She stopped. And sometimes, stopping matters more than starting. Before leaving, Hanya came to me. Not as a rival, not as competition, just as herself. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. I nodded. "I almost didn't." She smiled slightly. "I know." There was a pause. Then she said, "I meant what I said that day. I'm trying to change." I looked at her carefully, not searching for flaws, not expecting manipulation, just observing. "I hope you do," I replied. She swallowed. That night, driving back home, I rested my head against the window, not thinking about the past, not worrying about the future, just feeling calm. Saad glanced at me. "You okay?" I smiled. "Yeah." And I meant it. Because closure doesn't always come from revenge or apologies. Sometimes it comes from growth, distance, and choosing peace over chaos. I didn't fix my family. I didn't change the past. But I did something better. I stopped letting it control me. And as the city lights passed by, I realized something. I didn't need to win anymore, because I already had everything I was fighting for.